Hey, welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. For whatever reason, the term the Shakaama Live Show is far more popular than Shakaama Live or even just the name Shakaama. I found that very interesting. I have a little robot that can comb through YouTube and see how good I'm doing. I am still going through financial hardship. If you could donate, that would be fantastic. The first 1,000 people, if you could, thumbs up, thumbs down, it doesn't matter what you do. Thumbs up, thumbs down, leave a comment. But the best possible thing you could do is watch the entire video. So, if you watch the entire video, I'll send you $1. I'm kidding. Let me say this. There are a lot of news reports and information that I will not say on YouTube because I am using YouTube advertisement to fund the channel. There are channels here on YouTube where the viewers pay the channel and they can say whatever they want because they're not being funded through YouTube advertisement. If you want to donate something like $200 and say, I want you to make a video on this, I will make a video on this, and you won't see any ads on it. So, going forward, that is a standing offer. Now, if you're talking about a commercial, that's $500, but anyway. So, I don't want Coca-Cola saying, okay, I want you to make a video on Coke, here's $200. But right now, the rate for a commercial is $500, but the rate for just a regular video on a topic that might be controversial, that's $200. And that means that a few of you could get together and say, here's $50 each, we want you to make a video on this. I'm saying this because YouTube has literally written me and said, you can't make videos on this, and here is the contract that you have agreed to, and it's in the contract that whatever we say goes. But if I don't take any money on that particular video, I can pretty much say whatever I want to. Now, the whole Bud Light thing is far worse than any of you know. There is the public revelation of how bad their sales are, and then there's some anecdotal evidence of local bars completely disbanding their Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch sales completely and product, and telling the stocker to come back and take the stock away from their establishment. But I believe it's far worse than what they're letting on. And then I have a complete revelation after I'm done with that story, which ties into the story too. Now, you would think Bud Light would stop the bleeding by the public announcement of the drop of their sales, but it's not holding snuff with the American financial agencies. The stock of Bud Light parent company Anheuser-Busch has been downgraded by analysts at HSBC, who say the brand is in the midst of a quote-unquote crisis following the outcry over its ties to the transgender social media influencer. Carlos Laboy, a manager director at HSBC, global beverage sector, downgraded the stock of Anheuser-Busch to a hold status, meaning that investors should neither buy nor sell shares of the company. I don't know what he means. You can't sell the stock. I would believe you could still sell the stock, even in a hold status. I think that means you can't buy, that they're recommended not to buy. But shorting the stock, I think it's always open season to short a stock, especially at a time when when the sales are down of the actual company. That means that they're not going to meet any of their projections for revenue for the quarter. So short the stock. But I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you what I would do. Laboy said that the backlash to the influencer partnership is a sign that there is a quote-unquote deeper problems at ABI admits, according to a note that was first reported to CNBC. Quote, "Is ABI's leadership getting the brand culture transformation right? It's mixed," LeBoy wrote in a note that was published on Wednesday. In the West, the publicly admitted drop in sales are 29%. Again, this is an admission of 29%. I think it's far worse because some cities were quoting upwards of 60% drop in sales. For a company that has a full 30% of all market share, it would be like USPS all of a sudden not delivering mail for 3 days out of the week. And I misspelled the word mail. I don't know what's wrong with me. But wait, there's more. Here's the more. Bud Light did not just bring in some woman who made a campaign, an ad campaign all of a sudden, and with further investigation on my part. The company belongs to a group of companies that are tied to the WEF, World Economic Forum, headed by Charles Schwab. You know, the guy who says, "You will have nothing and you will like it. Let them eat insects." That guy. They are dedicated to a conspiracy of companies dedicated to eradicating all traditionalism. That is, family, traditional family, secure family, functional family. Have you noticed that we've dropped the term dysfunctional family? Have you noticed that? No longer do we say, well, this is a functional family. Father, mother, children. Functional family. And we used to say dysfunctional family, meaning it's just a mom or it's two moms or something crazy, right? Traditionalism, regular gender or regular sex, and politics, meaning regular politics, meaning Republican versus Democrat versus Libertarian. For the record, Libertarian holds more offices, meaning they are elected officials, than all of the other third parties combined. Actual butts in the seat. So the whole idea that there's only two parties is actually misplaced. In fact, there are libertarians in Congress, but nobody talks about it. So they are anti-traditionalism, and that's their bread and butter. Not only that, but they receive millions of dollars from the WEF for this, meaning they receive millions of dollars for ad campaigns when they promote anti-traditionalism, anti-functional family, anti-traditional gender roles, anti-traditional politics. So, can Bud Light recover from this? No, they can't. They can't apologize. They can't refuse to put out a woke ad. They can't refuse to talk about woke talking points. They can't promise to be traditional from now on. They can't do any of that stuff. They belong to that conspiracy of companies with the WF, and the whole point of it is to put out woke ads and cultural steering towards a dysfunctional society. And they're just one company. They're a whole group of companies. Nike, Coca-Cola, etc. Also, they're all in on that stuff. So, if you wanted to boycott Bud Light, and it's working, and now we see Miller Lite is in on it too, right? You all saw that ad, but that ad came before the Bud Light ad. The whole women shouldn't wear bikinis, women were invented beer. That is ridiculous. Let me say, before around 1930, women didn't do much of anything. They had the very lofty position of being mothers and wives. And they had nothing more than to say, I am Mrs. Johnson. Oh, sorry, ma'am. I did not know that you were Mrs. Johnson. And that held power. And what's funny is, today, women don't really put any stock in marriage, right? You don't put any stock in family. But the entire of human history was family. You gained your power from your family. So what's funny is, women want to be on their own and do whatever, but they don't have a name. Any sort of name is established as a family name. This is why we say the Biden crime family. We don't say Joe Biden is a go-getter. That doesn't hold any sway over anybody. But the Biden crime family, or for that matter, what the left likes to say, the Trump crime family, it doesn't have any credibility. But the Trump name brand, you know that he comes with, 20 people? 50 people? It's not just him. It's the entire family. And they all run the entire empire. When you think of Barack Obama, you think of the Obamas. He and his wife. It's a family. And when we think of stuff like the Illuminati and the Rosicrucia or the Black Rose Club, we think of pockets of families who are doing stuff in secret. It's family. The Bush family. We think of the family. We don't just think of George Bush. We think of the family. So, over 100 years ago, women didn't do much on their own. But Miller is wanting to say, women invented beer, so we should owe our respect to women, and women need to stop wearing bikinis, and you need to turn in all of your posters of women in bikinis, and we're going to throw it in the trash and create compost with it. Because women aren't beautiful. Women aren't pretty. Men aren't supposed to like women's bodies. That's the woke ideology coming through. They're ugly people. Most of them are very ugly women. Very angry. Why are they angry? Because they're not pretty. They don't do anything. They don't take vitamins to grow their hair. They don't drink olive oil to make their skin supple. They don't go to the beauty salon to get their nails done. Or worse, they're huge. They don't do anything to keep their health up, to stay in shape, to keep their heart healthy. They're super upset about all of this. So then they put out ads like this, and they think, and of course the media is saying, I don't know who they're targeting. They're not targeting. They're trying to engineer society. That is the whole point of it. They belong to that World Economic Forum group that is giving them millions of dollars for their advertisement. They're putting it out, and they're big enough that they think that they can suffer the consequences of low sales for one quarter, and they believe that you will forget it. But Pride Month is coming up, and you need to pick and choose. I want you to, first of all, a lot of these major beer companies put absolutely no effort into actually creating the beer. The beer, from what I hear, I've never tasted a drop of beer in my life. I've never tasted a drop of alcohol in my life. From what I hear, the major beer brands is just water. They don't put any effort into creating good beer. So all of the good beer don't do any of this. Why? Because they are so proud of their product that the product basically sells itself. And the only reason that the Bud Light is in the market is because it's so cheap. So their bellywick is that they are cheap and they're in competition with the more expensive good beers. That's the competition. It's the cheap beer, and then they get to say all sorts of weird stuff on their advertisement that makes absolutely no sense. I looked up the whole Miller Lite beer commercial saying that women invented beer. Women did not invent beer. Also, beer is just recent compared to wine. And what's funny is women were involved in wine from the very beginning. Why? Because it's a family thing. There was no separation of men and women. All of that is something brand new. In the past 20 years, actually. It's not the 60-year, 70-year span of the sexual revolution that happened. All of this women by themselves, it's all recent. You didn't have just women. You didn't have just men. You had families. The vineyards of whatever was run by a family and their employees. At no point would you go, I want to get a Bush beer, and I'm going to go over to Helga. No, you're going to go to the Bush family store and say, hey, give me a beer. Give me a keg of beer or a barrel of beer. I don't know how it used to be. Like I said, I never studied beer. I actually studied wine. Give me a barrel of wine from the Caccini family. You went to the family. You didn't go to Helga. You didn't go to John. You went to their family store, their family estate, or whatever. You load up your cart and that's it. It was always family. This whole modern stuff is to destroy the family. To separate women by themselves. Because women are emotional. Because women have estrogen flowing through their veins. When you separate them from men, from a family name, when you isolate them, then you can market to them till the cows come home. Oh, you go, girl. You did this. No, you didn't do this. The entire Bush family dedicated themselves to creating Bush beer. The entire Chateauneuf-du-Pape, the family, dedicated themselves to making wine. The entire family dedicated themselves to making chocolate. The entire family dedicated themselves to making cheese. The entire family. At no point in history did Helga say, you know what, guys, I'm going to go on my own and I'm going to go make myself some beer. Never happened. Didn't happen with the man. It was always the family. Helga, hi, baby, let's get married and let's have a bunch of kids and we're going to make beer. Okay, sounds good to me. That's how it was. This whole modern experiment is first of all, it's all misinformation about isolating women from men. Please don't fall for this. Thank you. Sorry for the rant at the end. That wasn't a part of the script. That should have been like 10 minutes shorter. I just had to let you all know what's going on.